Greetings and welcome. This is Psychic Medium Roberto, and I truly hope you're doing well. I'm guided by spirit. Disclaimer: all cases, names, people are treated as alleged until proven or acknowledged in a court of law. Disclaimer: all numbers used in this case pertain to the case and context specifically and does not necessarily bear resemblance to similar or same numbers you may have in your date of birth. Wow, Banksy. Who is Banksy has been a question on many people's minds, and of course, let's just say his, for purposes of general, has traveled around the world and has become world famous. And not only has his paintings become world famous, is the mystery behind who is Banksy. So I've selected a number of key moments. Now, of course, there are hundreds and thousands of illustrations and moments in the history of Banksy. So I'm going to look at the Sotheby's incident, where the girl with the balloon was sold on auction, and the minute the gavel went down and the piece was sold, we know that the artwork then began shredding. Almost 2/3 was shredded, and interestingly, the value increased after that. So what we're going to do is I'm going to look at key dates to see if we can pick out standout numbers. And I'm going to look at, there was also a time frame in which Banksy would do museum pranks between 2003 and 2005. So I've got one. I just randomly picked it. I never checked the numbers first. I just randomly checked these dates. And then there was a documentary made, and it's actually got director Banksy, release date 5 March 2010 in the UK. And of course, it's got the credits of who was involved. So we'll pick up some numbers there as well. And then we're going to look at who could these possibly people be. And of course, we know there's a number of contenders: Neil, Robert, Jamie, and Robin. So we'll see who's who in the zoo. So let's go to the Sotheby's auction. Now, on the day, October 5, 2018, so naturally there would be a lot of 10-1, so that can be considered as a number that's possibly skewed. 10-1, 11-2 could possibly be skewed as well. Key numbers, I would say, I mean, they are important, but standout numbers: 15-6. 15-6, and then we have a 26-8, 17-8, 8. Now, when we speak about artwork, we're in the realm of 17-8 and 8 artwork. 15-6 is the people painting, the artists. But 17-8, having reviewed a few of these dates, is a standout number: 17-8, 26-8 as well. So when we get into the intention, now interestingly, when the gavel went down, in the action, this is why I say action is important in terms of my system of numerology, in that we see a 32-5 here, and 32-5 is about destruction. Now, we can argue, if we want to be finite, of course, the painting wasn't destroyed, or the piece of art. Technically, it was destroyed, and the painting, as it became, with the shredded parts, obviously became more valuable. And the reason why this is important, the destruction number, 32-5, because it actually shows us this is what actually happened. So in other words, we can say the timeline is correct. So we can also say then the numbers would be correct. Now, we see that throughout all of them, we are going to have an influence of 11-2s. But we see in the intention, we have this whole rack of 11-2s here. So 11-2 is going to be important, I believe, in the discovering who is Banksy, right? Who is Banksy? Who is Banksy? All right, so we got these mass of 11 twos. We have a hidden portal sequence. 189 is the Artiste number. Artiste number 189. Now, you see in the intention, interestingly, we have a 29-11-2 here. And we see this outburst, 20 outcome 2. So we can say again, here's another indicator, because obviously when the paper started trading, people stood there gasping. They couldn't believe what the hell was going on, right? So there was obviously an agreement before, 29-11-2. I mean, it's easy to say now, but here's the number, 29-11-2. There's a deal that's been made here. And one can argue and say that it's illegal, because how do you present a painting or a piece of art and then it just gets shredded? So one can say with all these 11 twos, there is an element of illegalities that are happening here. And look at the action. We've got a mass of 11 twos here. There's chaos. So we can all agree when that painting or that piece, I keep saying painting, beg your pardon, when that piece of art, that stencil drawing, started getting shredded, here's the 11-2, it created chaos. Now, the 11-2 is a highly transactional business number, right? It's bringing, so in other words, in this case, it's bringing a piece of art together with a collector. And heavy transactional numbers, 11, 2, 10, 1, always brings in the money. So the 21-3 hidden, so something, again, was forced upon people. So we can say the demonstration with the shredding put people in a very compromised position, 21-3, very compromised position. Sotheby's were probably already calling their lawyers and insurance company when that artwork started shredding. Now we see here 23-5, 14-5. Now I can tell you from a psychic point of view, I meditated on Banksy himself originally. But I did, during my meditation process, is who is or what is Banksy? Because the general feeling and the confirmation that I had in spirit before, that in my opinion, and here it is here, 23-5 is a collective. So in my opinion, and here's confirmation, but in spirit, before I looked at the numbers, it's a collective. There's a small group, 14-5. Here's the group numbers here. So here's the first indication that there's possibly more than one person involved in the Banksy pictures that we see in the streets that pop up around town. In my opinion, and here's proof here, collective. Now, in the all is revealed outcome, again, another confirmation of a group number is 24-6. Because 24-6 speaks about a family, familiarity. Direct translation is family. So there's definitely a grouping of people. So we can say possibly, and here it is here, 358 or even 268 is a collective of artists. More than one, definitely. And we have the 14-5 here, a group. So there's definitely already indications that there's a group, and we're starting to pick up standout numbers. You'll note the 17-8 is going to be prominent around artwork. Banksy, the museum pranks. So I just selected the first one that I came across, or it was in a group, and I chose this one. Was the when he entered the Natural Museum, and he obviously then put up this rat with "Our time will come," right? With all the experimentation that's happening with animals. So we find this takes place on April the 7th, 2004. So again, we find 11-2. Now, interesting that we can say, of course, no person can go into a museum, which is mainly, in most cases, government-owned or privately owned, or non-profit or whatever it may be, but you can't go put up your painting on someone else's display. So we see 11.2, there's an illegal issue. And yeah, 17.8 is an artist number. But now when we get into the realms of Banksy, right, we start speaking also, we can bring in the word cover-up, because we can agree that for many years, or for decades, no one has known who these people are, who this person is. And everything is leading up to a group of people. So again, in the intention, so what is the intention? 10.1, for the greater good. And there's money involved here as well. Of course, each prank, anything that Banksy does is makes money. 14.5, we see another grouping number. And there's another 20, outcome 2. So the reaction from the public. So whenever they do a stunt like this, they want a reaction, right? And 11.2, on another hand, you can say, well, we're getting people to engage with the artwork. 2 is about engagement, one-on-one. 11.2, bringing people together, bringing art together for people to look at. Another standout number, which we'll see soon, 13.4. 13.4 is about a story being told by Artiste. 17.8. From the collective, 23.5, 14.5, speaks about what is going on in the world. 5, about international issues, local and international issues. We can all relate to animals being experimented on. And he's saying one day one day the rats could be the humans. Who knows? April 16, 2004. So in the outcome, we see 16.7, another Artiste number. It's also 16.7 can also bring around of obviously quickly sneaking into a gallery. 16.7. There is a very good documentary that I watched. I'll leave the link in the description for you. How they would surveil a location. They would even do mock rehearsals and then go in. But it was always a collective. There would be other people distracting people or preventing people from walking down a street while the others were painting. It's definitely a collective. And of course, they want to create the outburst 20 outcome 2. Now, also the 6s here will become important as well. Just remember that 6s. The 6s will become important because we also have the 15.6 here. So the documentary comes out on March the 5th, 2010. And the line says, tells the tale of Thierry Gutter, a French immigrant in Los Angeles, and his undying love for street art. Okay, so directed by Banksy. What do we see here? Now, when we're dealing with, in this case, a documentary film release, that's a very important date. We have here March 5, 2010. But now look what's happening here. There's all these chaos of threes. Interesting to note, all these threes out of sequence. We have the 8 that's been around, 17.8. There's it there, 17.8. We also note the 14.5, collective, 20 outcome 2, following these guys around, 20 outcome 2. That is the reaction they want from the public. Again, we have 11.2, standout number, 11.2, the 14.5s, and the 17.8s. Now, I guess the moment we've all been waiting for, right? So these are the 4 main characters that I found that have been pinned to who Banksy is. Banksy. And in my opinion, we have a collective. Look at Neil. he has, look at all of these threes here, all of these threes. Look at all of these threes. We spoke about all of these threes. Look at all of these threes out here. The 21, 3, 12, 3. 21, 12, 3. Look there, ladies and gentlemen. Lots of pops already. So we've got connection here. Connection in the threes as well. Notably, he has the 10, 1, interestingly, and the 11, 2s. Now, look at all the 6s here. Let me tell you something about this person's numbers. Now, I don't know these guys from a bar of soap, right? When someone who is an artist, musician, all that kind of background, artist, 33, 6, this is the guy that gets things started. This is the catalyst here. This is the catalyst number, artist number, ideas number. Hey, guys, I got a great idea. What? 33, 6. Look at these numbers we mentioned before. 24, 6, 15, 6, 6. Where did we see that? Yeah, 24, 6, 15, 6. There's his numbers as well. 21, 3, 12, 3. Definitely in the mix. Robert de Naja, excuse my pronunciation. Right, massive attack. 22, 4, and he's also got all these threes here as well. Look at all of these threes. And he's got all the 7s. I would say my feeling is of a lesser. Let's just double check something here. But he does have standout 3s for me, okay? Jamie Hewlett. Oh, here's the 7, yeah. 43, 7. Oh, look here, 24, 6. 24, 6. That is a match. And we've got the 13, 4. I would say part, at this point, Neil, I would say, would be more involved. But certainly with Jamie, this is spot checks. And of course, those that are the deep enthusiasts, you will have more dates and times that you can check. Look here, action, 13, 4. That's a very significant number. We got the 4s in April. And we have the 6s around April. So I'd also say Jamie is around. I have a feeling that Neil, having watched the footage of the, I'll show some overlay here, of the guy putting the pranks in the museum. For me, I'm looking at Neil there. Now, here is this mystery photograph, that one photograph in a million, or one photograph out of none that exists of Banksy, or an option. So I can say, look here, 20 outcome 2, very significant. Part of, look here, 17, 8. Part of, 20 outcome 2 is everywhere. In the intention, yeah, 20 outcome 2, 17, 8 around everywhere, 17, 8. 17, 8, 20 outcome 2 as well. These guys, so I would say Robert, he may have been inkling somewhere, but very small. These guys, I'm going to put him a little bit lesser. This guy, significant. And Neil, more significant. There was documentary, in the documentary that I've put in the description for you, there's legal paperwork with Jamie's name on it that links him to possibly been part of the collective, and these numbers ping on him. And Neil definitely. So, in my opinion, we have a collective. It may have been spearheaded by Neil and fully supported by Jamie and Robin, but I believe there may have been contributing artists like you would find at an art show. So the world is their stage, and their world is where the exhibition can be. And whoever's available at that time and place would make a contribution to the overall Bristol Art Collective. And I believe that is what has taken place here, that a beautiful idea created by someone who has 33-6. This is the fire starter, the catalyst. People with 33-6 get things started, the big idea. And so today we have the collective known as BANKSY. Share your thoughts in the comments. I do love engaging with them. Please stay safe, stay alert, peace and light. Bye for now.